call the Graham County Board of Commissioners meeting to order on this day, March the 15th, 2022. Members of the County Board of Commissioners be advised hereby of our duty under the State Government Ethics Act to avoid conflicts of interest and the appearance of such conflict, and further be instructed to refrain from participating in any matter coming before this Board of County Commissioners with respect to which there is a conflict of interest or appearance of such conflict. And Lynn, I will ask you to do the invocation, please.
Let's pray. Good day, Heavenly Father, and just thank you for this glorious day that you've given us. And Father, we just ask that you just continue just to be with us and just lead us. And Father, just give us the leadership that we need. And Father, just let us make the decisions for you, and most of all for our people of this county. And Father, we ask that you just lift up those who are in need, and most of all those who are sick and ill. And Father, we just ask that you just comfort them. And Father, we're just so thankful for everything that you've done for us. And Father, especially the blessings and the gifts that you bestowed upon each and every one. And Father, we ask that you just continue just to watch over us and protect us. And all these things we ask of you in your precious holy name, Jesus Christ we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm a little bit out of order. Do we have any veterans in the house? Thank you very much. We appreciate your service. Okay. Madam Clerk, are there any changes to the agenda?
No changes.
No changes.
All right, then I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda, please.
Motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you. For the workshop and regular meeting minutes of February, what is that? 8th, thank you. And the special meeting for February the 8th, I would ask for a motion to approve those minutes if there are no changes.
Motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Is Mr. Lancaster?
No, see here. No.
Okay. Gavin, then I will yield to you.
Our rubber tar backhoe out there, the 420 load, the boom broke completely off. 2 years ago, we spent about 20 grand on it, Becky be doing all of it. And it's been welded and patched, that boom out over and over. We can't find the boom for where everything is right now. Randy, he can fix the boom for an estimate of around $10,827.53. And then there'll be further parts that he bought from CAT to do it right, $3,038.41, which makes it $13,865.94. Right now we're renting a machine, it's costing us $3,700 a month. So we need to get it fixed really as soon as possible because we're throwing that much money away to rent up there. And maybe look at the new budget of maybe trying to get a machine because things running out 20-year-old. It's just dollars to death. We need to move forward and try to get it fixed. If you can approve it, Randy fix it for me. Because the steel, it's going up every week.
Okay. Keith, any comments on that? Anybody have any questions for Gavin or comments?
How much one more runs to buy?
If we go with the excavator, which is what we've been renting and these other transfer stations is going with, I've got 4 different quotes, and our best quote is with a Kubota 20,000-pound machine like with Randy. And the machine itself's $109,000. You get a $5,000 discount if you pay with a check, so that makes it $104,000. And if you buy a grapple for it to load the garbage with, which would save on all that beating and binding and packing, the grapple comes up, altogether it comes up to $123,000 with the grapple on it.
We talked about budgeting for that too, right, Gavin?
Do what now,
We
Jack?
talked about budgeting for that.
Yeah, talk about
FY
budget, putting a new budget.
Get us through for FY 22-23 budget.
But in the meantime, we've got to have something to work with, and I mean, I hate paying that rent. I mean, that's $3,700 a month that we're just giving away with the to fixing that other one.
When can Randy fix it?
As soon as I give him a go-ahead, as soon as you tell me to give him a go-ahead, we'll get the steel ordered, and it's probably gonna be down another month. I'm get steel, and where everything is, it's hard to get parts. And I say that, the cat part, I don't know how available it's gonna be. I've been looking. The boom itself, I tried to buy just a new section of boom, but the cat can't even get it. They couldn't tell me no timeline when they could get it. It'd be like that garbage truck. A year from now, we might still be waiting on a boom if we go that way. So I figured let Randy cut it out and fix it. But it's been fixed so many times. I mean, it's, you know, it's every 2 or 3 years we're going through this with it.
So what is your recommendation, Gavin? Fix it
And budget,
purchase.
maybe budget for another machine at budget time. It's about the only choice I say we got. I mean, either that or keep renting, and
Right.
I don't think you agree with me on the renting part. It's,
Becky, okay.
So, yeah, and I was telling Gavin that we'll finance it, and basically, you know, what we're spending out in repairs and so forth over time is a note payment.
Yeah.
So,
Have they got a new rig sitting on the lot right now? They got to order it and build it.
if you order it today, you're looking at 8 months to a year. John Deere's got one sitting on the lot, but they don't have they say theirs won't run the grapple like it needs to be, so we won't be happy with the grapple. Now, we could do without the grapple, but what's killing that machine is that packing. Where if you've got that grapple, you can lay that stuff in them corners, them trailers, mash it down the way to that, and get you loaded, because you got to pack it to get you 40,000 pounds in there, or you're gonna be hauling 20,000 pounds or 25 to the flames when you're wasting fuel in. So the grapple to me is really a necessary thing.
So the John Deere would not do that?
No, plus their price on the machine alone without the grapple was higher than Kubota's was, so really that puts them out anyway. That's $20,000 higher without the grapple.
Yeah, did you have to?
To get them, to get one machine on order, did you find out what they would need, or would they need a down payment, percentage up front, signed contract? Do you know?
I'm sure there'd need to be some kind of signed contract. I mean, I can find out as soon as you give me the go-ahead. I'm just trying to get some prices and ideals.
I think it'd be a good idea to upgrade the machines, because a 20-year-old machine, there's gonna continue to go down, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's been the same. There's a frame that seems to back there out boom hooks too, and it's hard for me to explain to you, but it's got a tapered pin that goes in it. So therefore you can't line bore that like you can a normal one. And that's been replaced twice, once when Donnie was there and 2 years ago when I was there, and it's done more again. It breaks that pin about and it's staying greased. You're welcome to come by any time to check. But it's breaking that pin once a month, and that's $122 at a lick, just that pin, not counting Randy's labor, because he's having to weld a plate under it. If you don't put the plate under it, the pin breaks, falls out, it bends the cylinders, then you're looking at $2,000 when it breaks. So he's having to come and cut the plate out, put the new pin, put the plate back, so you're looking at $300 or $400 every time that thing breaks.
Becky, did you have a question?
I was just gonna mention that a lot of times these equipment dealers will offer their own, you know, financing that we can look into, you know, while he's looking at equipment, just to kind of vet the interest rates and so forth. So we probably need to talk with the dealer to see what they have for
Okay.
Kubota.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. see what they'll want to get one ordered.
I
Do you
got,
have something to say there?
Well, the only thing is, you know, it's like the Band-Aid effect. We're just keep putting the Band-Aid on, and it don't go nowhere.
right.
So, if it's gonna take that long to be able to get, that way you can actually place the order and at least have it on its way. And as Becky says, you know, maybe we can be able to go ahead and get the financing and stuff. That way you can bring the final cost back to us, and that way we can get everything
Okay.
finalized if we have to.
Well-
Because, you know, it's just a wasting time,
Well,
basically.
you know, like the garbage truck, you know, they said so many months and it's a year. I mean, it's, if you figure for say 8 months, you figure probably a year before you see the machine probably. That's the way things is right now.
So once we get a contract with them, will they lock that price in for us?
I would think so, but I'll make sure of that, but I think so.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Need a motion?
For repairs, yes.
Do I hear a motion to repair the current piece of equipment and get a contract on a new piece of equipment?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, all in favor? Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, Chase Lancaster is here.
Thank you.
Chase has arrived if you want.
Okay. I'll give the floor to Chase Lancaster then.
All right, my name's Chase Lancaster, and what I wanted to come talk to y'all about today was a rodeo event. Me and Mayor Adams has found a piece of property where we have been told we can hold the rodeo site at. But before I can get insurance to hold this said rodeo, I have to be able to get a permit from the county, and that's why I'm here to talk about y'all. And what I'm wanting to do is, with 50% of the proceeds I make from this rodeo, I want to donate it back to the county, and the county can do whatever they want to with it. I brought up some suggestions to Miss Kim. I like to either say it go put towards the new jail, a rehabilitation facility, whatever y'all seem fit with it. But this professional event that I'm putting on, we have Mayor Adams has got in contact with the person where the Graham County land auction was held. And they said it was completely okay to have it there. And they told me the fee that they wanted me to pay to have it there. And with the proceeds I bring into it, I want to donate 50% of that to the county. But I need to have a sign off of a permit saying I can have this said event in the county. And I was going to have this event around end of August, beginning of September. And I'm not saying y'all have to make any quick decisions on it right now. Y'all can sleep on it, and the next meeting y'all have, y'all can vote on it. But I really think that me putting on this event, I would draw in a crowd from Cherokee, Macon, Swain, even Cherokee, the tribe. And like I said, the proceeds that are brought to it, I want to put 50% of that towards the county, for the county to do whatever they want to with it. I hope it's to be a new jail. I know Miss Kim told me that a new jail was in the works, and I want to donate this money to go towards the county to help out with the jail, rehabilitation, a rehab facility, or anything y'all seem fit for it. I mean, I'm trying to do my part as a citizen to help the county out.
Thank you, Chase. Anyone have any questions for Chase?
What kind of permit are you looking for?
Professional bull riding event. I've rode professional bull riders for 15 years. And I have the crew, I got the stock contractor, I can get the arena, I can get the bleachers, I can get the porta johns, I can get lights and everything from people I know. So I'm not worried about that, but the only thing I need the permit for is to cover the insurance that I have to put on this event.
We don't do, I'm not aware of any permits that we issue for any kind of event.
You know anything about a permit for anything like that?
I've never been a part of applying for such, but certainly I'd be happy to look into it. And as far as I'm concerned, I'll mention that to our county manager.
Sure.
We'll look into that and see what's involved in getting a permit. And discuss it at Kim?
Madam Chair, I don't know if it's simply a letter like we do for the event that we have out on Maple Springs, because every year we have to send a letter from Grant County saying that it's okay to have that event at Maple Springs. So it may just be that type of letter and not an actual permit.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
know we've had some rodeos in adjoining counties, so if we don't know exactly what to do, we might contact one of them, see what the process is.
Would the health department have any kind of permit?
No, it would only involve us if it involves food. So as long as there's no temporary food establishments, that's the only permitting process we have for events.
The insurance company probably would tell you what kind of permit they're looking for.
Well, the permit, see, the insurance company I'm going with is my buddy Brian House out in Alabama. He's a big rodeo stock contractor. He has the arena and the bulls that I'd be using. And he's got me set up with the insurance company he uses. And what that is, pretty much just a letter stating that the county gives me permission to hold this event in them days. And like I said, it's going to be, I'm wanting to hold it at the end of August, beginning of September. And I haven't got the dates fully established yet, because now I got to do paperwork to be able to go out and sell rodeo advertisements to help pay for the equipment. And have sponsors and stuff where I can hang up their signs.
Are you at liberty to say where it would be held in the county?
You know the location where the Graham County land equipment was auctioned off at?
It's behind.
Okay, yeah, behind sanitation, yeah.
Sanitation.
Cody property.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
It's Cody's.
And Mayor Sean Adams has talked to the landowners, and they have gave the permission to.
Okay.
And they have told me I'd have to pay them $500 to hold the 2-day event there. It'll be a 2-day event. And I'll be having the property for 4 days. 1 day to come in and set it up, 2 days for the event, and 1 day for tear down. And then I went out and looked at the property. Mayor Adams even showed me the property where Graham County used to hold a rodeo event at. But when I went out and looked at that property, it was so growed up, it needed a lot of work done to it. And then he showed me this property, and that property is ready to go. I have plenty of parking there for my announcer stand, the arena, and plenty of parking for the contestants and spectators. And all it is like Ms. Kim was saying, is a letter saying that y'all will let me have this event at the county. And I don't know if y'all need me to pay for the letter, or how that would work.
There's no charge for the spring one that I do for them. I just think it's just a little bit of research. I think it'd be something good for the county, exciting, something for people to do. So if you want to just follow back up with me in about a week or so, just give me some time to kind of do some research, and maybe I'll give you some homework too if something comes across my desk, and we'll go from there.
Yes, do you have a business card?
I'm right here. You can grab a business card before you leave, or just come in the building right here in my office. Where you saw Kim, my office is around the corner from her.
Yes, sir. And
yeah, be no problem.
And do y'all have any objections with me donating 50% of the proceeds to the county?
No, I don't. Does anyone?
No.
Thank you, Chase.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. And we'll look forward to hearing back from County Medic on this project.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, is Wanda on here?
I feel you the wrong one, let me give it up. Wanda is out sick, and I'm gonna present hers a little bit later. I had a little uh-oh on the agenda, I'll admit. So this is the new one, we went ahead and moved, since Gavin's told me and all that today.
Okay. I'll use it.
Yeah.
Okay, then I will be yielding the floor to Daniel Allison.
Yes, ma'am.
I had to have a little reinforcement with me.
And Saturday.
Yes, ma'am. And unfortunately, Mr. Harris couldn't be here tonight. He's in D.C. at a meeting.
Yeah.
But he sends his regards to the board. We appreciate that you're allowing us to make a request. The Graham County Historical Association and the Graham County Travel and Tourism have partnered to seek grant funding for a tourism and economic development grant that involves the renovation of the Snyder Building. As we began to work through the grant application process, we realized that meeting some of the requirements that the grant had would necessitate that we ask for the county's help. So tonight, we're asking you to allow the county to become an applicant along with the Historical Association and Travel and Tourism.
Need a motion.
And that's for the finance part of it, correct?
It flows through you, is that what? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And
Well, I told them either way to slice it, I'm the finance officer. Because if the TDA, the travel and tourism applies, I'm gonna be writing checks versus
Yes.
Graham County. So I either way, I'm gonna
You're
be
involved.
Make a motion.
Thank you though.
Okay, we have a motion. There's a second, all right, all in favor?
thank you.
Permission granted. And good luck with that.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right, I will now yield the floor to Ronnie Williams, Recreation Director.
Good evening. Thank you for giving me a few minutes, and thank you for what you do for our county. If you would, on the desk you should have a pool renovation project sheet, and there should be some pictures of our pool and some of the issues that we're having. I'll try not to take up a whole lot of time. I'm going to just go through this, and you know, at the end, if I can answer any questions, I'll be glad to. So anyway. From the best information that I can get, the pool that we now have was completed, I think, around 2008. Is that correct, most everybody? Is that about when that was? Anyway, that's about 14, somewhere right in that neck of the woods. Okay, I thought that was close to where it was at, and that's what everybody that I had talked to had told me. So the renovation project, you know, why the need? I'm going to give you a few things. You know, the plaster that coats the sides and the bottom of the pools is deteriorating, and you can just look at the pictures. They really kind of speak for themselves. And the water line tiles are breaking and coming off. Skimmer drains are splitting and cracking. The last 4 pool inspections that have been done last year was one of the tougher ones I've ever had, because the lady came from the state, and man, she picked it to death. And it took about 2 to 3 days to get in compliance with what she was wanting. And I mean, it was everything from soap being in the drains to, you know, she just kept talking about how dirty the pool was, and I kept telling her it's not dirty. It's just, you know, it just looks that way. So, but anyway, she was pretty good with it, and you know, more than anything else, it's just like I told her, I'm not trying to hide anything from you. I will do anything. I want our pool to be the safest pool. You know, I want to know if there's a problem, we need to get it fixed. So, but anyway, that's just the last 4 times it's been rode. I've had an inspection. It's been rode up to have those pool walls and the pool bottom to be replastered. Okay. So problems that can occur when the plaster is coming off the pool sides and bottoms causes several issues. One, of course, is the safety. Kids are digging at it, getting pieces of plaster off. You know, it gets sharp edges showing, they can get cut, you can step on it and get cut. Another is loose plaster is being carried through our filtering system. I mean, when you get that sand and, you know, it just keeps working, the water's continuously moving. So it brings all of that through our filters and stuff. And that causes, you know, it causes them to work harder, shortens their life. So another is when, you know, you don't have a smooth texture pool. Your dirt and algae, it forms much faster, and we spend a lot of time and effort in trying to keep that down. Chemicals especially, you know. So it's very expensive. Cost of chlorines went up about 150% in the last 18 to 24 months. Unbelievable, just what it has went up to. Tiles coming off is definitely a safety issue, possibility of people getting cut. Skimmer drains are being big in the shape that they are causing several problems. First one, we're losing the water around the ones that are split the worst. And you can see, I think I've got a picture of one that is really, it's bad. So, you know, other than the pumps, you know, skimmer is one of the most important things you can have in a pool's operation. It keeps your pool, keeps all the stuff off the top, and you know, if it's working properly and circulating correctly, that's what needs to be occurring. Pool companies that renovate, over the last 4 years, I've contacted about 12 contractors. And out of the 12, I've got 3 quotes, and only 1 contractor that was willing to come out, look at our pool, measure it, and talk to me about what he felt like needed to be done. The warranties on these contractors that do these renovations, they will vary from 1 year to 5 years. And for that kind of money, you'd think you'd get a whole lot better warranty, but that's about all that they're going to warrant for. The plaster, there's a Marcite, I think, and then there's a blue diamond type, and the blue diamond's supposed to be the best that's out there, but the plaster is going to last, you know, at best around 15 years, and then especially with a commercial pool. And then the sad thing, this is going to be looked at again at that time, and that's the sad part. So about every 15 years, this is going to come up. So that's something to think about. So, you know, after contacting these contractors, you know, COVID and everything has just brought on a whole different world, and everything we used to get done in a timely manner, and you can kind of throw it out the window. No one wants to work, and the companies that are working are so booked it takes months and months to get them to come look at a job, and by then the quotes that you may have are no good anymore, and the process starts all over again. And that's kind of what I've run into. You know, you may get a quote and they'll say this quote's good for 30 days. Well, by the time you even get another guy to come and even talk to you about a pool, that's no good no more, you know. So it's just an ongoing process. As the prices continue to rise, of course, I would like to get a contractor for the renovation and get us put on a schedule so they can get started on the work, because I don't know how else other than, you know, I don't know if we can lock them in on a contract. I just don't know with price of gas going up and diesel like it is. I mean, the last quote I had went out in I think it was January, but just talking with the guy, he was the one that come out and looked at our pool. He was up and being as honest with me as he could, and I really appreciated that. But again, you know, that's been well over 30 days ago. So, you know,
January this year, Ron?
Sir?
January of this year?
Yes.
Yes. He gives you an actual cash?
He did.
How much was that?
Just a second. It's from Campbell's Pool and Spa. This guy's out of Knoxville, Tennessee. He does the Diamond Bright, and it does have a 5-year warranty. The other 2 that I have only have a 1-year warranty. And this is including the wading pool, all the tile work. This is the turnkey job. It comes to $128,430. Now, that was the one, the quote expired on 1/6/22.
128 what?
128,430.23. Like I said, I've got a copy of that right here. And like I said, the other ones just to kind of, and we're not even really getting to compare apples to apples with these other 2 quotes, because one was in 2018, the other one was 2017, but I called them back and one of them told me you're looking at about a 40% increase of what that was. So actually for the pool, and they didn't even quote the wading pool, was more than the guy quoted this past one. It was like $98,000 just for the pool, the big pool, and this guy Campbell's Pool and Spa, his quote was $92,800. So it was more, and I was showing Kim, you've got one that has got the 6x6 water line tiles, and he's got them for $24 a piece on his quote. And then this other guy's got them for $9.99. So they're gonna make up their money. If they're a little cheaper on putting the plaster in, they're gonna try to make up that money. But it all kind of washes out. You're looking probably anywhere from $11 to $14 a square foot is about what it costs to get the pool fixed to where we would be happy with it, I think.
Can you reach out to, the Campbell Pool Group again?
Oh, yeah, I can.
You get another quote and see how long that they could guarantee the quote for?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be glad to reach out to him, and the good thing about him and his wife, they did come. They spent an evening with me looking at this pool, and he was, like I said, he was honest with me. The other thing on these other quotes that I didn't get, and you can see the labor, I wish I could run y'all a copy, but the labor, the skimmers, the labor to put those in, and there's 15 skimmers in our wading pool and our big pool. And the labor just to put those in is $1,200 a piece. It runs up there. I mean, it gets expensive, but I'm afraid if we don't, I may have 2 out of the 15 that doesn't have a crack in it, but I would hate not to do those 2, you know, and look and it be cracked in the near future.
You got time to get this done before season, or is this something you're going to be doing in August?
I'm afraid he about 3 weeks ago is the last time I talked to him, and he just told me, he said, Ronnie, he said, you know, I was trying my best to hold a spot on my schedule for you, but I just told him, I said, we got to go, this has to be approved by the board. This is something that I can't call. And so he said just to give him a call back once that I met with you guys and kind of seeing which way the county wanted to go. But
Can we meet procurement guidelines with these other quotes?
The fact that he's, and I worked with him some on it as well, he's went out multiple times and you have the evidence of that.
oh yeah, I've got.
I feel confident we can. Nobody responded, people would call and tell him that they'd be here, they wouldn't show up. That went on and on for a
Quality
couple
Pool
months.
Group out of Charlotte, really, I mean, it was bad.
It's documented.
So that's just some of the issues that we're having. Again, just to give you some information, we averaged about 18 swimmers a day last year. One of the busier seasons that I've had. We had first time ever, I had to schedule groups that were coming because we couldn't handle all of them that showed up at one time. So I had to start putting them on different days, which is a good thing. It's great. And I want our pool, I tell our kids, I want our pool to be the safest and the cleanest pool that they visit each summer. And with that being said, we work hard at trying to keep our pool looking good. I want it to be something that the public is proud of. And, you know, I don't know, you know, I've never been involved in working around the pool much until I came to work here, but it just really amazes me that this process has to be done. You'd think somebody could come up with something different that would last longer than 15 years, but right now, I don't know of any. And that, again, that's, yeah. So.
Becky, do we have a capital outlay for the pool or?
What we had started doing about 5 years ago in the budget is put like 10,000 back. So we got about
Just discuss that.
a little over a third of it put away. Ronnie and I got sticker shock
We
big
did.
time.
We got sticker shock.
When he started this project a couple of years ago. So, you know, we've got the money kind of reserved for part of it. We'd have to budget the rest.
Pretty sure we know it's gonna be higher and higher and higher. For myself, the sooner you could get in touch with those people, the better. I don't know. Does the board have any other comments?
Well, we've got $1 million asset down there, we need to take care of it.
You got it.
You fix it and budget, you know, set aside money in every budget for this day.
Yeah, and that's what Becky and I talked about going forward, and this has
We
been
just got our
years
fingers
back
hurt.
because we knew you know, in about 12 to 14 years, 15, it's gonna be coming again. So if you can kind of put some back and be prepared, it don't seem to hurt near as bad, I guess.
And
So,
and to potentially help that too, sitting with Russ Harris from Southwestern Commission, not a week or so ago, we're talking about economic development, and then we're talking about what they could potentially put money towards, and the pool was one of them. So I applied for $50,000 through the Southwestern Commission to potentially go towards the pool, waiting to hear from you. So that could potentially help as well too.
And I think we should think about things we could do out there to improve usage and go to North Carolina Parks and Recreation and see if we can get some grant money to do some additions and so forth out there. That would help.
let me ask you the question. Before this guy gets, when you have a pool that is over 5 feet deep, it requires you to have a trained, certified lifeguard on the stand at all times. Our pool is 5 foot 4 inches deep. Really about 5'6", I guess, in certain spots. What is your thoughts? To me, I mean, we pay $350 to get these lifeguards certified so they can come and work for us. Would they bring, I mean, is there any, would you like to see that go to 5 feet where we wouldn't have to have a certified lifeguard? And I don't know what that entails. I did talk to him a little bit about it when he came and looked at the pool. And he said, let me think on that. So I've not asked anymore.
Ronnie, with our kids down there, I really feel better if we have the lifeguards there to protect the
What would
kids.
be our
or
limit
something.
side of it if we didn't have a lifeguard down there, Jack?
Not good.
And like I said, it just says,
It's a thought,
the
Ronnie.
and what it calls is, you know, you've got to have one lifeguard on the stand at all times. So that, you know, I've got one, but now, like I said, the other are just pool workers. They're there, they're certified as far as your CPR and first aid and all that. But as far as just a certified lifeguard, I only have to have one. The other one sitting on the other side may be a pool worker. So just with that being said, that's what I think North Carolina law requires. So anyway, that was just one of the things that I'd ask him about. And this is the other, and then I'll shut up. We do a lot of birthday parties, swim parties with the community, and we done quite a few of those last year. And I want it to be affordable for families because a lot of families do use it for birthday parties for their kids, and I enjoy them using the pool. But with the cost, just to give you an example, 3-inch chlorine tabs, 100 pounds, used to cost just a bit over $200. I think it's like $209, $211. That same $100 or 100-pound 2 buckets right now is a little over $500. It's went up that much just in the last 18 months to 24 months. So I would recommend the parties that we have now. For 20 swimmers, it's $75, and over 20 is $100. I'm just making a recommendation. I think that needs to go to $100 and then to $125. So that's, again, up to you guys. If that's something you want to do, that'll be fine. If it's not, it's fine. Either way, there. So you can kind of let me know. Thank you very much for your time. And any questions at all?
Let's get it fixed.
Just gotta get it fixed.
Thank you, Ronnie. And
Okay.
honestly, the pool is one of the few things that we do have in the county where families and groups can get together for
And it
birthday
is.
parties.
Jason and I was talking just a couple of weeks ago. As we grew up, that pool's been there a long time. Because when we grew up, I mean, during the summer, that's where we'd go. We'd hang out and just have a blast. You know, the old pavilion that was there with the basketball court. I mean, that's where you spent your time, playing basketball and swimming and talking to the girls. So anyway, all right, thanks a lot, guys. And
People think a video game is an improvement over that.
No way.
Thank you, Ryan.
You need to know.
Changing the fees.
If you're agreeable to changing the fees, yes.
yeah, it's like I said, right now it's 75 up to 20 swimmers and 100 for 20 and up. And the reason you have to have 2 people working versus 1. And like I said, just the cost of chlorine and chemicals going up, I just thought it might be a good idea to raise them from, 75 to 100 and then 100 to 125. So up to you guys.
We pay, you know, for 2 lifeguards to be on deck the whole time during this private party, and they have the usage of our restroom facilities. I mean, the whole pool is theirs privately for that time.
Unfortunate, but that's reality.
They'll rent this for what, 150? So I don't think they'll mind renting the pool for 125. That's just my.
Coming from Rice City and Cherokee County to come over and do our pool because it was like $50 higher in those counties versus ours, so, and that's fine, but, yeah.
What do those counties charge?
I think, one of the cheaper ones is 125, I think that's what, they get over, up to certainly on Swimmers and Cherokee County, for commercial.
Hey, board, what do you think?
I think that's really good myself.
I'm gonna go around, nothing else.
Pay for the pool ring?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
There for a while, you didn't know whether you was gonna get over it or not.
That kind of last year.
Hopefully things will get better. But 2 4 studs cost $11 a piece, so I don't know if it'll get better or not.
And the jug of Clorox used to be $1, now it's $5.
Yeah.
So there's your chlorine.
There it is.
Yeah.
I get
And
that.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, in case you don't know, have shrunk by 25%.
Yes, they have. All right.
And the price went up 30%.
Thank you, Ronnie. Okay. County manager, we're ready for your report.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Mr. Marino, sure.
Good evening, board and everybody. You should find the open session manager's report, probably top of your table. Go over a few items here, update a few things, and then I'll go into the project manager report. Update on item number 1 is for the $5 million SCIF grant, a state funded appropriation. We did receive that money. Miss Becky got a pleasant surprise, wanted to know how in the world we had so much money all in one whack when she looked in there. And we did get the $5 million, so there will be reporting, obviously grant reporting requirements for that, and she'll put that in a separate account and we'll get ready to go, and we'll talk a little more on the project side on the Justice Center. And that's specifically and solely for that Justice Center. Item 2 is the Grand County Force Plan objection. We talked a little bit about our representatives, our people that are consultants. I'm expecting a draft of that from a couple of us had a conversation. I'm expecting a draft of that any day that I'll forward as soon as I get. And the intent is obviously to have that in before that objection deadline. So I just wanted to update you on that. I expected it today. I haven't seen it since we came in here. Obviously, I'll reach out and find out where that might be. But I just wanted to provide that update.
I want to add something to that.
Sure.
We met with the forest supervisor here last week, Jacob and Jason and myself. And I don't know if you know anything about the forest plan or not, but when the Forest Service released the original draft of it for us to comment on, they presented 4 alternatives. And when they released what they call the final draft back in late January, they told everybody, we have selected alternative B. Well, I didn't give it a whole lot of thought at the time, but 4 is A, B, C, D. So we learned in that meeting that they decided after everything was done, hey, we're going to create alternative E that nobody got a chance to see, nobody got a chance to comment on. And if it is allowed to be put in place, by the time it's put in place, 41% of all the Forest Service land in Graham County, North Carolina, will be set aside for no timber harvest activity. 51,000 acres of property that there will be no potential for timber harvest on.
And that'll never be reversed.
No.
Well,
I mean, it could be, but
Not likely.
not likely.
30 years later.
Yeah.
The license been operating on.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, 20-year plan that they've been working on 28, 29 years now. So we're objecting. think we'll have to go to court to stop it. So, anyway, that's my 2 cents worth on it.
Very good. Thank you. No more comment on that or questions. Item 3, we have had movement on the Cdbg grants. Ms. Becky and I have been in conversations with both Ms. Briggs and Ms. Chevalier. We have received proposals for the second solicitation for surveying, environmental, and legal services for the neighborhood revitalization. We'll convene a review board of those proposals and then make our recommendations for the ones that award those contracts. Some will be kind of going back to almost like what Ronnie's went through on the second go-round for requests for those bids. We only received 1. So it'll basically be a sole source award through their processes that they were legally contained. So that's good moving forward with that. With the coronavirus, that's going to be helping us up there at the senior center. It's going to also be part of workforce training for paramedics, enhancements for the senior center, expand capacity for food distribution. We're working with Ms. Briggs and finalizing the administrative and procurement documents for that CDBG grant as well. So getting a lot of movement on that finally, and that's exciting to be able to get that money and start doing those renovations up there as well. Item 4, I forwarded the board that meeting for the broadband to your emails, so you had that invite with the information. That's I plan on 10 unless the board member wants to go on my stead, but I plan to attend. That's over in Franklin on March 21st from 1 to 3, and it's going to be people, some representatives to discuss the state and the broadband issues that they have. So good things for us, hopefully in Western North Carolina. But I sent it to you guys. You have that in your inbox.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to come. I understand Commissioner Cody will be attending too.
Good deal.
I hope some of the others can.
Real good. Item 5, some of our departments mapping and the tax assessor have been able to use some of the new imagery from Eagle View, and it's absolutely remarkable. I recommend if you get a chance to come by. I would like to show you some of that. It's very detail oriented, and obviously you get to see a lot more than your what we call plan view. Very, very well being reviewed by our staff that's using it. We're pretty much 97% complete. Obviously, with the high resolution, when we had those few snows, they showed us the imagery, and we wanted them to go back so that there wouldn't be any question. That's all they lack is probably one more flight for the higher resolution when we're talking about seeing property, and then we'll be complete and upload all our imagery and be able to start using that, and then QC anything, punch list it out, and then that will be complete for this go round with the imagery. But a very good, very useful product end result coming from that for sure. No questions on that. Item 6. Brookfield had sent out, there's quite a bit of information here. I wanted to make sure you guys had some of this. You can take it home with you. They sent out their recreation plan for 2022. It's their Smoky Mountain Hydroelectric Project, Article 408, Recreation Plan Update. Quite a bit of information there. And also wanted to provide, if any of the commissioners had any kind of comment, if you look at the first handout where it's the actual resource agency representative, the last page has a comment. You could either email me a comment or come by, bring it by, and we'll make sure we get that over to Brookfield. So I wanted to provide that for you, and I can also send it to you electronically if you want it via email. So I thought that would be some interesting reading.
Hey Jason, can I just bring up one point about Brookfield?
Sure, yes.
We have a scheduled time, I forget what date it is, but it's sometime in April, for the San Souci auditor to come and visit all the dams in Graham County in preparation for revaluation. So that's coming up this
That's great.
spring.
That's really good. Just keep us updated on that timeline.
Okay.
Standing. Unless there's any information or questions on that, I'll move to the last item, since we're in a talking money mood. Item 7 is the Graham County Grounds Department. If you remember, we bought Harold a new zero-turn this last year, budgeted for this new year, and we were intended on budgeting for the next year. But he has the other mower that he used, and we really need to do the work they do for all of our grounds. All but one property he uses both mower. Obviously there's weed eating, but all but the one property he uses both mowers. And basically, the repairs it's going to take for either of the two mowers that he's able to use is about $3,000. So about 40% of what it would cost a new one. And those are about 12 years old. So I've provided some quotes. You also see the zero-turn mower quote comparison sheet that was with that. Basically getting quotes from local vendor Glove and Equipment and outdoor power equipment from Murphy. If you'll notice that the Hyde model is the cheapest, but that's more of a residential piece of machinery, and I don't think that would stand the type of work that Harold does with that mower. The one we bought is similar to if you just look at your sheet, you'll see the first one, which is a Toro. It's around $9,400. That's about, it was a little bit under what we got him last year, the one he's got. Toro is proven to be the better model, and that is the one we're recommending to go with. So I'd ask the board to consider approving. And the reason why I'm asking now instead of budgeting for the new year is it is mowing season, and he'll only have basically one mower to get him through the spring and summer before our budget starts. And I guess that would be a Miss Becky question, if we can afford to buy another one at $9,400.
Well, I know he's had to do a lot of repairs on the one that needs to be replaced, and again, we're throwing good money after bad. So, I think, in order to get the mower, he's going to have, well, he's already started mowing.
He has already started mowing.
And in order to get one without having to wait on it, when we get in the heavy mowing season, I would recommend going ahead and getting it, and then I'll amend his budget. And it would be less money coming into his budget for next year. Because we'd be budgeting it for next year anyway.
Yeah.
Does the board have any questions or comments about purchasing a new mower? Okay. Do I hear a motion to approve the purchase?
Motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
We're up to 2.5% on the wheel right now.
And it's still counting.
I'll note if there's no questions or comments on the manager's report, I'll move on to project manager's report. Won't be a lot to report. A couple of projects is not really moving right now. And one of them, or all of them, will anticipate moving really quick. So if you look at, I've provided the manager's report sheet. There's a couple sheets with that. One of them has the bottom sheet is the Robinsville Middle School's progress, actual complete sheet. As you know, we reported the RDA Moose Branch subdivision should be starting back. I anticipate end of month to into April, we should have that complete. We're working with the USDA as well on the procurement required paperwork for qualified people to be able to apply to buy a piece of property and build a house on it. Also intend on maybe working with the school to build a spec home. And so good stuff coming. We'd like to see us be able to use that with the RDA if they qualify 100% buy the property and 100% financing to build a home on it. And that will help what we call affordable housing in Graham County. So really good things happening over there. A nice looking project. The next two projects are two metal buildings, the cemetery department and the rec department. There's been no movement for about a month. since our last commissioners meeting. I talked to Roy Engel, who is a brother of Tim Engel, and Tim Engel's been in the hospital with going through dialysis. He's had kidney failure, and that's the reason why. A couple things, there's been the snow and a couple rainy weeks that they haven't been back, and then he's been sick. I talked to him today. He's going to have a status about coming back potentially next week. He's going to let me know towards the end of the week, so those projects will start back as soon as possible. Really close to being done, obviously about 63%, but roughly the Recreation Department is about 85% done as far as their work and the metal building work. They just need to finish the roof and put the roll-up doors in the gutter and the hardware up and put the windows in, and that'll be done. Same thing on the cemetery, except it needs the roof on it. So they're really close to being done on both projects for their part of it. Moving down to new office renovation, we talked a little bit about this on another meeting here recently. It's about 85% complete. The electrical's being done. A lot of our finished accessories are delivered between today and the end of the week, which would include all your bathroom accessories, mirror, toilet paper holders, bathroom towel holders. The plumbing materials have been delivered. There's some sinks. We're waiting on the toilet fixtures. Those need to be installed. And then the cabinetry. And the lead time, the long lead time on that is going to be May. By the time we get the cabinets in, installed, built, installed, we're looking at the first week of May being complete with everything and cabinets installed. I work with Commissioner Nelms if they need to do a temporary CO to move in. I recommend if they don't need to, that we wait, because we'd have to work around whatever they move in with the reception area and the pass-through window, and then the cabinetry that goes in the director's office. They'll need to do that. So, and again, that's lead time is also affected by everything else that you've seen. So, I think that's great. We'll work with Lynch Cabinets to get it done sooner. But the project looks really good. Again, I'd recommend when you get a chance to go walk through. It's going to be a nice area for the Board of Elections to work in, and a nice project. Item 5, I did some research and talked to some people about the Justice Center, and our recommendation to go with construction manager at risk is kind of our way of being able to assure what we get. And I talked a little bit to Commissioner Wiggins about that. And when you get a construction manager at risk, it's their job to make sure that they're almost a second entity from the contractor or the design team. Most of the time they hire out a design team and they make sure you're getting what you need in that contract, and it'll be people that have worked this type of work. So with that said, I'd like to, again, Commissioner Nelms will be part of the review team. I'd like to be able to either open up to discussion to go out and start soliciting for design teams to provide their qualifications to where we can sit down, see who's qualified and who we might want to go with.
So you're asking for approval for CO?
To go ahead and start getting the qualifications for a design team and a construction manager at risk.
Could you send us out the definitions? Can you get a definition of what that is, send it to everybody so everybody will know?
Yeah, send an email. Yeah, I can send you an email. Sure, absolutely. And I could always
like to know what it entails before I start, thinking about it. I'm sure that's what I'm thinking about.
Absolutely.
And I understand the process, I think, but I'd just like to know what all it actually entails.
Absolutely. I can do that, and then we could always poll the board afterwards.
I think we had a CR for the 911 building. Do we not?
We talked about it, discussed it, but
We did not. We did not have one for the senior center?
maybe for the senior center, but not 911. We discussed it very thoroughly on 911, but the board decided to go with just the contractor, and it worked out.
Just send out some information on it.
I will.
See what all that covers.
I will definitely do that. And They do recommend it for projects, especially 10 million and higher. And I'll include that in the email.
That's a pretty major undertaking.
It is.
And it's gonna have some complicated.
That's right.
Parts of it, so I think we need to be sure.
Absolutely.
We don't want to get up there and, a door that goes to the jail never got put in for strange reason.
Absolutely understand.
We don't want to do like we did at the B&J building, and the door over here, guess what, there's something back there, you can't put the door in. Those things should have been known by the architect on that one, I believe, so, anyway.
Absolutely, completely agree.
My 2 cents.
All right, moving on, item 6 is the middle school additions, showing about 58% total complete. Nice facility, recommend if you get a chance to go over there. A lot of room that they're adding on, going to be a benefit to our school kids over there for the 6th grade wing. And I've provided that actual status for their project with this included. Good news on the item 7, which is the Little Snowbird project. It's our understanding that the design is 100% complete. And we've emailed them. We're going to be on a meeting with them next Monday as well, later in the afternoon. But the intent right now is the RF request for bids. The advertisement would be 16 March, which is tomorrow. Virtual site visit will be 23 March. And the bids due will be April of 2022. So I'll keep you updated on that as that project comes to fruition, and hopefully we get, and I know we'll get several bidders on that, especially local bidders that are interested in doing that project. And if there are no... I didn't know the total scope of that. I know they got a grant. It was another grant. Yeah, there was a grant that was it 14 million. That's a school. Yeah, we were talking to Angie this night about they were applying for another grant that I think they're going to use over here for their elementary side. And there's 14 million. That's no match for the county, which is another positive and good thing for Grant County schools.
Better.
There are no other questions. That's all I have.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Marina. Becky, you and finance report.
Sure, I've got the finance report for February 20th of 2022. Jason's already told the good news about the $5 million. And I'll have a little bit of comment on that. Our cash balance in the general fund, this is aside from the $5 million, okay, is $11,022,375. It's a little bit higher than this time last year. It's about $86,000 higher. It did dip down from the January of $11.3 million. However, we paid a lot of bills in February, did some catch up after the COVID and so forth. So there were some bills that were due in January, got paid in early February. So that's part of the reason that the cash balance dipped a little lower and the cash balance was a little higher in January. You'll see below, and we've got several cash balances in addition to our general fund that we're tracking. And the first is our capital projects fund, North Carolina Capital Management Trust of $2,265,000. In that fund, the school capital project fund at the Capital Trust is $114,000. I transferred the pay that the board authorized at the end of December into the general fund for $82,000, and that leaves in the ARPA fund $82,610. We're anticipating the second tranche probably the end of May. And then you'll see that we did show our $5 million on the state's calling it the SCIF grant. I still haven't figured out what SCIF is, but anyway, $5 million. Now, they are requiring that we do not commingle this money, which is very good fiscal management, good stewardship. And so I'm going to have to set up a special revenue fund for that, and so I will need permission to open another capital management trust account from the board. I'll need authorization to do that. I want to get that separated and segregated so that the spending in that fund is very transparent.
Okay, thank you, Becky. I will entertain a motion to set up a bank account for the $5 million separate funding from fund from our other monies in the county. Do I hear a motion? Thank you. Is there a second? All in favor?
Okay, I'll take care of that tomorrow. On page 2, you'll see our property tax collections were total for the month of February of $193,000 and some change, of which $176,000 was current year taxes, a little bit lower than this time last year. However, we're still ahead of the curve. Our DMV was $53,810, so that's still staying very healthy. If you'll look over on page 4, you'll see that we collected in real property taxes for the year $6,943,000. That's ahead of what we budgeted, which I'm pleased with. And then DMV is $417,000. So we're ahead of this time last year, a little under $58,000 for the real property taxes and about $19,500 on the DMV side. Our collection percentage is 95.25, which is higher than last year. We were at 94.42, so that's always good news to the finance officer, because the higher that percentage is, the easier it is for me to budget. So I'm happy with that. Page 5, you'll see our revenues for the month of February in the general fund were $1,051,000 and some change, and our expenditures were a little over $1.4 million, so we had a deficit of $370,000. That part again is where we were trying to play catch up, where we were short-staffed and did not have any staff at one point to cut checks during the month of January. So that's the reason for that variance from this time last year. Page 6, you'll see that our surplus is $2.141 million for the year. Of course, that's going to dwindle as time goes by. And we were about a little under $2.6 million this time last year, but the board's done a lot of good things to improve pay rates and also changing schedules for EMS. So it's all explainable, and it's all good things, good decision making on the part of the board for fiscal management. Page 7, you'll see our sales tax continues to be healthy. We got in the other day a little over $241,000. That's net of our winter month. That's very healthy, and I'm pleased to see that. Of course, I was thinking about this when I was doing the number crunching today, and I thought part of that is kind of some bad news too, because part of that is a function of inflation. You know, our inflation rate continues to go up. So, you know, it's making it harder and harder for our people to meet their bills. You'll see below that over time, since we started collecting the quarter cent, we've collected a little under $665,000. So I've got about $75,000 I'm going to move into the capital management trust fund, probably next week. Property, real estate taxes receivable are hanging in there about $689,000, but our tax collector is continuing to be diligent in working her attachments, her garnishments, and her foreclosures. So she's to be commended on the good work that she does. Any questions on this part of the report? Okay. On your budget report, we should have 34% remaining in our budgets. For the month of February, we closed out having 42% remaining, so the county's running right within budget. And most all of our departments are running right within budget. We've got a couple you'll see highlighted in yellow that I'm watching very closely that we may have to do some moving around of funds. I still haven't done the final budget amendment for the EMS for the change in the shift. And our new EMS director, he and I just haven't had time to go. He's got some numbers crunched for me. We just haven't had time to sit down. So you'll probably see a budget amendment next month. And that's all I have as far as the budget reports. I do have 3 budget amendments. If there's no questions about the budget report. Okay. You'll see budget amendment 14. And this is good news. It's our Dogwood Health Trust grant that we just got kicked off this past month for $242,818. That's basically the ARC Recovery Work Grant is ending this quarter. So this grant will kind of help us pick up where we're leaving off with ARC. So we're very thankful to ARC to get it jump started, and then Dogwood Health Trust saw the good work that we were doing, and they're making an investment in our county and our people. So we have that one to pick up that grant for the health department.
How many years does that cover?
What?
How many years?
That goes until June of 2023, so the end of next fiscal year.
That's good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She's really doing a good job, and that's a great position and asset to the county.
So we need to find another funding source.
The COC grant, which right now funds part of Clint's position,
Right.
that funding is also through May of 2023, and I intend to reapply for that funding to cover both of them.
Okay.
And the Dogwood Health Trust, that right now we're in a planning grant, and we anticipate that being followed up with an implementation grant. So that's probably where the next three, and usually an implementation grant is anywhere between 1 and 3 years,
Okay.
and I intend to apply for that too.
Good. It's a good program.
And then budget amendment number 15 is to recognize a grant with the Sheriff's Department. This is through the Department of Public Safety, and it's funded, if I'm thinking correctly, via an allocation from the General Assembly. So it was for $84,270, and there's no match requirement with it. And then I wasn't sure about the jail manager, Marina, I know the sheriff and his chief deputy came. Was Mr. Marlin going to speak to the jail
I
budget?
received the text,
Okay.
right the last moment to come up on behalf.
Okay.
Of the major.
I didn't know if I figured you wanted to lay the groundwork, and then I'll present that budget amendment.
Madam Chair, members of the board, thank you. Like I said, I received a text just shortly before the meeting from the major. They're on a narcotics operation, doing their job. And they've already brought one guest to my facility up there to stay with us for a while, and probably more coming. But I was sent here on behalf of the Sheriff's Department and, of course, me being the administrator of the jail, to answer questions you might have about the budget amendment request we put in. A lot of factors going on there. As you know, the number of inmates we keep versus just a couple of years ago was an average maybe 12, 15. We are up to 31 inmates a month average, and I can show that on documentation to the monthly report we send to the state. That has doubled food, just general operations, and we have not spent anything other than the basic necessities to operate that facility. Our monthly bills for just food for that number of inmates is about $9,000 a month average, which is much higher than what was anticipated a year or two ago. This is not counting the inmates we're paying for to house out of county. As you know, the state says we can only keep 8. Right now up there, I've got 20 in that jail, and I've got 15 in other facilities out of here. Our officers are doing their job. Another thing that has absolutely just killed us in the last year, since March of April of last year, is COVID. COVID hit that jail. I had just walked into that jail and we had dodged that bullet, am I right, Lieutenant? Up until we come in there, And about April of last year, it hit, and not only hit once, we have been shut down a dozen times for COVID in that jail. All of our officers have gotten COVID, some of them twice, and had been out sick. So overtimes went, medical cost to our inmates, our staff has just gone up. Kenneth and I have been working as much as we can to come in to cover for officers to keep the overtime down. Our transports, we're averaging 3,000 miles a month transporting officers Sunday. I covered Sunday for a transport all day. Yesterday, I had to send 2 officers to Wilmington, North Carolina for a transport. It's an 16, 17-hour round trip. It takes 2 officers to drive and split the drive up. That happened yesterday. This is a typical thing. We make transports on a daily basis. So the cost there again, supplies, general basic supplies, soap, things such as that for the inmates has gone up because the number of inmates has gone up. It is required by the state of North Carolina by statute, and I have that section I can provide to you, that requires commissary. We're not giving anything fancy. Candy bars, chips, things of soup, low cost. We get the lowest prices of stuff we can because we are required by law to provide commissary. That budget's gone. General supplies is gone. Meals is right now gone. Our budget for salaries is right now gone. And I implore you humbly, it is not because we have gone above and beyond and trying to buy stuff we don't need. This is for daily basic operations. And I humbly say we got to have a budget amendment to carry us through to July.
Okay, so that being said, Manager Marino and I met with Sheriff Chris and his chief deputy on Friday morning, and we went through the jail budget line by line, and they had done some analysis and provided some projections, and then I reviewed those and tweaked them, and unfortunately, what we're looking at, as you can see on the budget amendment I presented, it's about $185,435. The good news is we do have the surplus in our property tax revenue, and we have some surplus in the sales tax revenue that's not restricted for education. So I'm presenting this budget amendment with all of these line item changes that were approved by Sheriff Chris to the board for consideration.
We have worked hard, and Lieutenant Hyde and myself, we work hard every day. And just letting you know that we cut everything we can, do it without. This is just basic, literally basic operation. And because of the COVID and the number of inmates we have, it has absolutely just overwhelmed us. And we're at the verge we can't operate.
Now we're price of fuel went up, even our vendors are charging delivery fees.
We're getting surcharges, prices, there again, it's going up because of this increase on everything.
Does this have any extra in it to cover coming increases, or?
I went ahead and increased the sheriff's request to cover the added fuel cost. And my intention was to go through each budget that has heavy use of fuel for this meeting. I just ran out of time, but I think we're going to need to look at that closely for the remaining of the budget year for all the other departments.
I do know that for our budget, and me and Kenneth have been crunching numbers every day to submit our next request for the following year. But when the budget was submitted, that we're currently operating, it was like $2.70, $2.80 a gallon, and now we're at $4.20, and I don't see that going down in the next 2 or 3 months. So that's is greatly affected everything across the board.
So what I did was look at, what the average usage of fuel was up till the end of February, and then figured out what was left, and then doubled it.
Yes. Unfortunately, you're right.
It's unfortunate, but it's reality.
Motion, we approve this budget amendment. All of them.
14, 15, and 16?
Yep.
Okay, we have a motion to approve budget amendment 14, 15, and 16. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
And I did want to add one thing, and that is, the cost of our out-of-county inmates this past month, just to pay the jails that they're housed in, was over $18,000.
And there again, I'm just trying to keep us by law, and we're not even in compliance. I'll just be honest with you, we're not in compliance. By numbers wise, and Mr. McCoy, the state inspector, came on me a few months ago, and he said, you gotta get it down to 8, Captain, I gotta get it to 8, and we're doing our best, but
Tracking it.
we have 2 goes out and 4 come in, so we'll continue to work hard to try to keep it down as low as we can.
Thank you. Thank you, Norman.
Thank you, Mama.
Mr. Hyde.
You guys got a tough job. And the pandemic certainly made it even more difficult.
I dodged the bullet, Dale, the whole time.
Yeah.
Never got a drop of it. Oldest one up there. Oldest one. And then about, what was it, Kim, about 2-3 weeks ago, I'm getting COVID and be out. So,
Sorry about that.
You got one more bad reader than one in this part.
There's some more in there.
Sorry.
I'll get you back.
Glad to see you guys are better, and thank you for the work that you do.
we'll continue to do this. Glad to see you too.
Anyone for public comment? Nope.
Thank you.
Do you need a microphone, Kim?
No.
Discussion item.
Public comment, I think Daniel Allison needed to speak.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
We're
I
just,
didn't sign up early enough.
Still here.
I would just like to provide the board with a quick reminder. This week, this coming week, actually a week from tonight, next Tuesday, there'll be a public meeting in this room, in this building, for the public to provide their input, their ideas, and their energy in talking to us about ways to celebrate Graham County's sesquicentennial.
okay,
So I hope that each and every one of you be able to attend.
thank you. Thank you, Dave.
It begins at 5 o'clock.
Gonna have a shindig?
Gonna have a shindig.
All right.
and, Travel and Tourism is gonna be glad to be at least one of the sponsors, and, so the county's 150 years old, got a lot of history. Let's take a week and celebrate. Have a good time. I'm gonna invite the ho-dads. You know, the ho-dads on it. And get them to come pick and grin a little bit. We know the ho-dads. You know who they are?
Yes, sir.
Johnny Hinson's boys. And
Oh, yes.
Philip Buchanan and,
Lester?
yeah.
What are you gonna play, Dale? What are you gonna play?
Me? I'm gonna play an old man. Yeah. So, have a good time.
Thank you, Daniel.
What celebration is that on first year?
I don't remember much. I don't remember much of it, Keith, I'm sorry. And it's because I've gotten old that I don't remember a lot of that festival. What was it called?
Anytime.
All right,
The Jovial
Madam
Festival.
Chair has asked me to present the discussion items, releases for $6,241.84, and discoveries $92.43.
Have a motion, is there a second? Thank you, all in favor? Approved.
The next one, I think, Manager Marino mentioned the invitation. I actually put the invitation in your packet for the broadband with Senator Kevin Corbett. The next one is an approval for a poll on 216 for Teresa Crisp, and that was for bereavement leave, extra bereavement leave.
Motion to approve that poll.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Unanimous.
All right, the next one was to approve a poll for 221 to allow Glenda Bradley to use her sick reserve due to a family illness that was not expected, an unexpected illness.
Right. But I would have a motion to approve the Glenda Bradley leave. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Thank you.
Okay, the next one is to approve the poll on 228 for the cardiac monitors. I believe that Brian Stevens, our new EM director, had mentioned and talked to you about that. This was from Cherokee.
Motion.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
All right, the next is approve a poll on 3-2 to allow Attorney Coward to consult with another attorney on a case that we're working on.
Okay. Motion?
Motion.
All right, I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
All right, we have a resolution that was presented to me to name Public Health Week, April the 4th through the 10th. If you want me to read it, Madam Chair? Or everybody, it just basically recognizes everyone that has participated and worked so hard in our public health. And I would like to see that we do something maybe special, send something, or have a little walkthrough for them or something, if that's acceptable.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve this resolution? Public health? All right, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Thank you.
All right, and then it is time to approve your dates for your Board of Equalization and Review. Last year we set them for every Tuesday in the month of April, starting at 4 o'clock. At the moment, we only have one that has signed up to be here to present. But you will need to meet all 4 just in case, and then you'll adjourn on the last one. So those dates, I think I put it in your packets.
We did.
And you'll have to make a motion to approve those dates.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? April 4th through the 10th.
And then approve the HCCBG. Wanda had received some extra funding in the amount of $127,722, and the county match was $14,191.
Is there a motion to approve the county match of $14,191?
Yeah, motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
And I think that is all.
Any
You
other-
have something else on your desk, but it is a secret, so I won't say it out loud. But if anybody wants to do a walk by, they can and see what I have laying on my desk. But anybody that can attend, they would appreciate it.
Sure.
And that is all I have.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions from the board or comments? All right, we have a matter for close. Is that right, Madam Clerk?
Yes.
Okay. I will need a motion to go into closed session, GS 143-318